Hello, CFY sweethearts. Welcome to episode 35 of the Coming For You podcast, aka CFY Official Podcast. It's me, your host, Maximiliana. I hope you are having a fantastic weekend. And of course, we just celebrated Easter last month. And it's been like 2 weeks, but I guess I've not gotten over it. Because guess what? Today I have invited my friend. She's going to introduce herself properly. And then, so we are going to have a conversation about Easter away from home. Like, how do we celebrate? And, how do we see Easter away from home? And just generally a conversation about that angle. How are you, my friend?
Hi, Maxi. I'm good. How are you? My name is Eluise Vas. I'm from Mozambique. And I met Maxi through our Irish Fellowship program. We went to the same university and we stayed in the same residence.
Yeah, those are the old good days. My God. Oh my God. Yeah. Oh, you reminded me of our residence. Yeah, it was beautiful. I used to like it.
Yeah, before things got serious.
Of course, and we're like, we need to move out. Have you gotten an accommodation? Everybody was asking the other person, have you gotten a house?
Yeah.
Gone are those days. Now we are suffering out here.
Anyways, now it's the real deal.
The real deal. So far, I have had 3 Easters away from home. The Easter of 2022, 2023, and 2024. I remember my 2023 Easter last year was so beautiful because we traveled to go to Northern Ireland with Amanda and Tracy. It was beautiful. We really enjoyed. But then 2022, I think I was just in Galway, and in 2024 as well, I was just at home actually in Galway. So it was beautiful in general. But I can talk a lot about it. But first, I want to ask you, Eluise, what's the most memorable Easter you've spent away from home?
I think the most memorable Easter was the one in 2022 because we also spent that one together. It was very random because I wasn't expecting it. I went to church in the morning and then I just came back. I was planning to just have like a normal, relaxing Sunday. And then suddenly you called me. You're like, no, come eat. We're having lunch, please. So I wasn't expecting anything. And it was very nice. I ended up also meeting Amanda that day, who's also a great friend of ours. And then after the lunch, we also ended up going out for some refreshments, which was good. It was a very unexpected day, but that brought a lot of us together. So that was very memorable.
I remember. Was that the first day you met Amanda?
I think so, yeah.
Wow, you guys are very close now.
Yeah.
This is beautiful. Oh, you should pay me for that. I remember we also took some few pictures, as usual,
Mm-hmm.
If I'm to ask, how do you usually celebrate Easter when you are away? As you mentioned, you sometimes want to have your chill Sundays. Is that how you celebrate always when you are away from home?
Easter tends to be a time of, getting with your family or your friends, to commemorate the resurrection of Jesus. So usually I do enjoy, if it's possible, to have the company of friends and family with me. So that's usually that's the ideal scenario for Easter.
All right. I think the same applied to me actually. And so in that end, how do you keep in touch with your family then and friends during Easter holidays when you are away from home?
I tend to do video calls. When you live away from home, that's probably the best means of communication because you get to see them and speak to them as well. So video calls is usually the best to catch up and know what they're up to. Sometimes they're at a party or something themselves, and I also get to see other family members that I don't tend to talk to as much, which is also always good.
Yeah, I mean, you and I both, because I usually do my video calls. Like, I would video call my dad, my mom, and my siblings, particularly my sisters. Trying to talk to my little niece who are not even talking yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how it usually goes, actually. So how does the Easter celebration differ from home then? From home and where you are right now? I mean, now we are talking about Ireland. Do you see any difference?
I think here Easter is not that big. It's not that big of a celebration, I would say, compared to home. Yes, they have like the bank holiday, so you don't work or anything, but I feel like it's not that same idea of family getting together. They usually take advantage to go on a holiday or something. I think people, instead of Easter, they'd rather get together with their friends and family on St. Patrick's Day, which we don't have back home. Yeah, but that's when I tend to see even the university students, my work colleagues, they're always like, oh yeah, getting with the family to meet up for St. Patrick's Day compared to Easter.
Yeah, I've seen that difference as well in terms of how, the community of Ireland spend Easter and back home. I think it's because back home we are very serious, a bit religious and, spiritual. We are so into that idea of Jesus and how he died for us and for us all, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
People take it so seriously, take it too far in terms of even how they would look like in that particular day. So people will do their shoppings for Easter, eating good food, dressing new clothes, visiting the extended family, eating together and talking about Jesus and how he died for us. So it's quite big back home, as you said, honestly. What is one thing that surprised you about celebrating Easter away from home?
I think it ended up becoming a tradition, but in a different sense. Whereas traditionally it was more family orientated at home, here it's my family away from home, therefore my friends, So it ended up being that the tradition is to be with friends. So I think that's the fun aspect, and sharing food. Yeah.
I suppose so. That's the main thing, actually. I like cooking. I like cooking on Easter particularly. Like spending time in the kitchen, trying to cook my favorite dish and also eating with the people I love, my friends. That's how I would say it's a new normal to me when it comes to Easter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What do you miss the most about celebrating Easter at home then?
I would say my family and the food. Because although I also enjoy cooking and everything, the food, the weather as well. But I was saying, although I also enjoy cooking, there's something about being home and enjoying that food from home. Somehow the chicken tastes different. Somehow the potato tastes different. And I think a big part of it as well is we have a big grilling tradition. And to grill, you need to have good weather outside. It needs to be warm. So here, it's usually rainy, or during Easter time, it's still a bit on the colder side. It's hard to go out and grill something, Whereas back home, we tend to have the grill, even have some conversations alongside the grill as we're watching the meat or the chicken or whatever cook. Yeah.
Grilling sounds so romantic in Africa then. Wow. Surely that must be something that you really miss, celebrating Easter, from home. Wow.
Yeah. And another good memory I have is I usually tend to celebrate with my grandmother, and she's always happy to see all her grandchildren together. So sometimes she'll just start dancing and like just being happy, you know? And that also like brings up everyone's spirits.
I hope she's not now demanding to get a great grandchildren.
Not yet. Not yet for me.
These humans are very entitled. You know what I mean? Like the grandparents are very entitled. They can just look at you and then like, you need to do this. You need.
They have expectations.
Yeah. Wow, interesting. Anyway, so do you have also activities like maybe Easter themed activities or events that you do back home during Easter?
Back home, some activities that I would do would be with like my nieces and nephews, like the Easter egg hunt. We'd like hide chocolate eggs and stuff in the garden and give them baskets, and they could like go search for Easter eggs around the garden. And that's always fun for them to do. Here, there's no kids for me to play with.
That sounds sad. I mean, you and I both were going through the same thing.
There's no kids for me to play with, so that's not an activity that I do. I'd say another tradition from here that's popular is to give chocolate Easter eggs to people. Yeah.
Did you get to give someone this time around?
I received an egg.
Well, good for you, because I haven't received. Perhaps I don't know. Maybe you guys should be serious. No, I'm joking. I received a beautiful Easter candle from you, Eluise, which I really loved. Yeah, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So do you have any other thing that you like to say about Easter or something?
I would say this is not necessarily about Easter, but I would say that people should enjoy the time that they have with their families, you know, as much as possible, because you'd be surprised when you're away how much you end up missing them, missing little things, even the annoying things, you know. So take advantage of the time that you have with your family.
Oh, don't make me cry. Don't make me cry, because you are making a lot of sense. I mean, wow, yeah, deep. It's that deep. Thank you so much, Eluise, for joining me today on episode 35 of the Coming For You podcast. And thank you so much, CFY sweethearts, for being here every weekend, for tuning in on our little podcast. And we are happy because we're now available on all podcast platforms. You can check us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you get your podcast. And yeah, that is the end of our conversation for today. So thank you so much, Eluise, for coming. Maybe I will invite you next time, and please don't say no.
I'll be waiting.
All right. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Let's dance, shaku, shaku. Let's dance, Malay.